Scrappy friends. Today I have this layout for you that is for the Shimelle blog. So I hope you guys head over there and check out the blog post that is posted for today, and it is featuring this layout. In this layout, I was asked to use dimension and to also do a layout about desserts. So this is super easy for me because I love adding different types of textures and different types of things to my layouts. Anyway, so it is perfect. I cut that background white cardstock with my silhouette. I just went in and I just randomly placed circles and I cut them out. And here I'm taking the paper museum and I cut out various circles. I just picked ones that I thought would go with the color scheme, which is kind of like a teal aqua color, like a coppery color. There's some browns in my photo, and then there's a cup which actually inspired a lot of this layout, and it has like an orangey red type of color that looks like string art. So what I am doing is I'm pop dotting these circles, or some of them. I'm actually using like a foam piece, which I just got at the local dollar store. You could probably find it at other types of arts and crafts stores. A pop dot would work too, but I was thinking that this would be a little thinner, and I am going to stitch on it. So yeah, I didn't want it too thick and I didn't want too much adhesive. And I just put them on the white cardstock circles so that I would have a place to stitch around on the outside. In a minute, you'll see me put the holes in one of the circles so you can kind of get an idea of what it's going to look like. I did not share me actually doing the circle because it didn't get caught. I did some of it, and for whatever reason, I wasn't in the frame. So I think I'm still getting used to this setup that I have. I use like a jewelry paper piercer. Well, it's not a paper piercer, but it's for jewelry, and it works the same way. It just has a really pointy end, and I just put holes around the outside, and then I put a hole on the inside. So I am using that gray circle dot, and that is actually from Coca Vanilla Studios, but that gray color was something that I thought would help the other circles that I did pop. And I just used a stencil, and then I used the end of my pencil to make those marks. And so I just used acrylic paint to get those marks on there, and they're just circles. And so I'm randomly placing the circles around. Some of them I'm going to put in the holes, and then some of them I don't. And I just use my tape runner. I will say that several of them I had to go back and use a liquid adhesive because they didn't stick as well. And some of them I'm putting on actual pop dots, and some I'm just using a little bit more of that foam I like the foam, but it's really thin. And one of them I put the foam, and then I put dimensional adhesive. And I really just want some of them to pop up more than others. I want there to be shadows from all those different circles, and they really look very similar to the circles on that cup. Like I said, that was my inspiration behind what I did, and it turned out really well. I'm glad it did, because otherwise I would have spent all night doing something that didn't work. But that's how it is when we scrapbook, right? Sometimes you just got to play with something. If you have an idea, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I am backing that photo with just some copy paper for my border because I printed it off. It's a little bit smaller than 4x6. There's a little bit of end on each room on each ends, and I really wanted it to have a full border. That's something I've been kind of digging, so I'm going with it. And I really liked using the copy paper because it's going to add a little bit to my layers. It's going to make them not as thin, but then I can tuck more stuff in, and I don't know. It's hard to explain except for that you get a really nice thin layer, but because it's not as thick of a paper, sometimes it crumples a little bit more, and it really helps with the layers. It just adds something. Now, I am going to apologize. My head does make an appearance quite a few times. I took out the spots where there was a lot of my head and you couldn't see what I was doing. I decided to use that branding strip. I think that's from the city paper. I thought about using that paper. It has red and then it has some blue like plus signs in it, but then I just decided not to. And I'm just rumpling like with my fingernail the edges because I really want there to be that texture. And I'm using a little bit of washi tape on the sides, though you don't end up seeing much of it. So what I did was created a banner with that crepe paper. When I did it in the camera, it didn't show up. So I'll link below a layout that I did do that something similar to that where I did show me doing it. And so now I'm creating my layers, and I chose to use that red paper because it kind of reminded me of like string art from Shimelle's collection, and that's from her new one, Go Now Go. I tried to use a lot of stuff from the different collections because I really wanted up near the top to have that blue paper, which is that blue dot paper over on the corner. I use that, and I have that more on the top because my cup has the blue up near the top. So I was trying to be intentional with some of the color choices that I made. I did pick that black and white that I had actually a long time ago added gesso to it with a little bit of watercolor that was like a pink color. So just very light, a light pink color, and I'm just layering. I found that with the layering, you just kind of got to have different size papers, and you really want to pay attention to the corners and the angles that you really want to have. So if you have like a 3x4 size card paper and then a 4x6, you don't want them, you want to lay them in a way that you can see both of the corners. And I find that if you just have little bits and pieces of that sticking out, it works really well. So here I'm working on putting that one circle back. I knew that when I kind of started that my layers were probably going to be pretty close to that. Also, behind the layers, I have a cut file with some pattern paper, and that I had actually did a long time ago, and I had it in my stash, and I pulled it out because it was the perfect colors. It is from We Are Memory Keepers Wildflower Collection. So it just worked perfectly. And the leaves, because it's starting to get fall time, so I have hints of that fall time feel, even though this is not actually a fall time layout, really. I mean, well, the picture was taken in the fall, but it doesn't necessarily have to be because it's a picture of a cupcake that I made and a cup of coffee. And I just love coffee anytime, but what makes coffee better is a cupcake. I love cupcakes. So I'm working on the title, and I'm using those Fitzgerald uh, letter stickers in that aqua color, which is the perfect color. It matches the top of that cup. It matches it perfectly. And I'm going to use that wood piece. I think that's from Ellie Studios. And then the copper color letter stickers is actually from Pink Fresh Studios when they were doing their embellishment kit club a long time ago. Well, I say a long time ago, last year. They had these really pretty copper, and I still had them, and it matches the copper paint that I did. So I'm trying to tie in different colors. It doesn't have to be perfect and match, but and I ended up adding the coffee to my photo, and it's over top of my laptop screen, and I don't mind that you can't necessarily see the laptop screen because who's on the screen doesn't really matter because I'm talking about the fact that in my journaling, I talk about the fact that I was watching YouTube videos and catching up on them, but really this is mostly about the cupcake and the coffee. So I thought that it kind of brings your eye in and it brings your eye to that corner. And I am going to end up taking that make die cut piece, and that was from the last collection. So that was from Starshine, and I didn't think, I don't know, it just didn't feel right, so I took it off. And I did add string up in that corner, and I have a black paper clip, and I moved it up just a little bit above the coffee. So there's a lot of texture and stuff in there, and you'll see in the close-ups just how well this turned out. I absolutely love this. Now on this corner, I'm building this other corner, so it's kind of like an L shaped sort of, but a little bit different. I added that metal clip with the epoxy from the Starshine collection. I added that over near the ampersand, and then I have just a die cut piece that's pink. And it just kind of works adding some of those pinks in. See here, I'm adding blue again. I used washi tape over top of the thread so it wouldn't come off, but the washi tape apparently is not very sticky, which most isn't, but this one extremely not so. And then I just added a couple of those wood buttons. I only put them on the two sides because I already have that metal clip and that circle, and for me that's enough, and there's already wood on that other side too. So there's the wood and there's the circle elements, and I didn't think it needed anything else. So pretty much to tie this, to end this up, I'm just going to add some of these enamel dots, and I use mostly the circles, but I do use a few hearts throughout, and I'm just scattering it around. I'm trying not to be too precise in my about it. So I'm scattering it, but I am thinking about what I'm doing. And then I'm just going to add some tinsel in Heidi Swap Color Shine, and then I'm going to actually add some gold, just a little bit. I really wanted a few bigger splashes. I don't know. Sometimes I like that bigger, even though I don't know if it necessarily needed it. I could have went a little crazy on it, but that's okay. And I'm just going to journal right on the layout. I add some journaling lines. You'll see it in the close-ups. I didn't show me doing it in here because sometimes I like to take my time and just do the journaling, but you can see it. And that coffee and cupcakes are best together. The best together is also that blue paper. I just used my die cutter, my silhouette. So here are the close-ups. I absolutely love the way this turned out. I love all the dimension and all the layers that you can see. There's just so many goodies tucked in, and that's what I think makes the perfect layer and dimension on a layout. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Don't forget to head over to the Shimelle blog to check out some more close-ups and to see some other good stuff that's happening over there. I thoroughly enjoyed working on for Shimelle. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Don't forget to check out the info box below, because then you can find out where you can find me in all my other social media places. I will see you guys later. Have a great week.